that was a real problem for me. I just kept saying, well, I give them another chance, give them another chance. Well, you know, they're still young, they're learning, maybe. And I look back and I thought, oh, John, you could have done so much better, so much quicker if you would have just gone in and dealt with the problem in the very beginning. So with a hijacking rain taker, once you find you've got one, you've got to go fix this problem very quickly. You just gotta address it quickly and deal with it, okay? So I had a lady on my team named Ann, and she was a rain taker. She was a hijacker. When I went to the organization, she was already in position, and so it took me several months to kind of learn who I had and understand what was happening. But probably within 6 months, I looked at Ann and I realized that the groups that she worked with, every one of those groups had potential, but they weren't reaching their potential like they could. And I kept saying, well, why are they not there? And the only common denominator was Ann was in all 5 of those groups. And I finally came to the conclusion there was something about Ann that was causing the other people not to do as well as they could be doing. So I remember bringing her in to my office one day. I said, let's have I want to get acquainted with you. And so I asked her questions, and in a long time, this was not an easy conversation, or was it a fast conversation. The more she talked, the more I came to the conclusion that she was a hijacker, that she was a rain taker. And the reason I do that is because she was always taking credit for what other people were doing. And she was always spreading gossip. Here's what she would do all the time. She would say, they did a really good job, but, and then she would begin to go south on it. And I would hear her do that. And so finally, after my conversation with her, it's just the two of us, it was a private conversation, I said, Anna, I think I now understand. I said, let me give you a picture of who I think you are. Okay, now this will seem a little rough, but you just have to understand. I've got a hijacker here. So I mean, you know, I don't mean how smooth and soft do you want to be with a hijacker that's going to keep you from reaching your potential? I said, I want you to picture a garbage truck. I said, you got that in your mind? Yeah, I got that in my mind. I said, because I want you to picture that garbage truck, because that's who you are. You're a garbage truck. And you go to situations that are doing just fine, and you back your truck up and you dump your garbage there. And then you pull away and you go wash your garbage truck, and you get out of the truck, and then you point back at the garbage there and you say, look what they've done. And I said, you think you've got to make people look worse so that you can look better. And you're a garbage dump. Of course, she was not really thrilled with that conversation, and she was protesting a little bit. I said, that's okay, don't worry about it. I said, I got you figured out. You're a garbage dump. You're a rain taker. I got it figured out now. And I said, so my next step is I got to make sure everybody else on the teams knows that that's what you are. I got to make sure they know that, because I want to, when they see you back it up, I want them to realize you're not Santa Claus bringing gifts. You're a garbage truck. You're going to dump garbage here. I want them to hear that beep, 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 beep. Hey, you got a problem here. Ann's coming, beep. Here comes beep, 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 Ann. When they see you, I want them to hear beeps. I want them to see garbage. I want them to smell, okay? Well, you're loving that part, aren't you? By the way, I'll bet some of you know a garbage truck or two, don't you? Huh? How many of you maybe have maybe that's happened once? Yeah, sure we have. The reason this lesson is going to be so much fun for you is I'm going to talk about everything that we've lived in our life. And of course, she didn't want me to expose her. So she said, well, what are we going to do? I said, well, it's nothing. It's not what we're going to do. What are you going to do? I said, you can make a decision in this room, and the decision is you're not going to be a garbage truck anymore. If you'll tell me you're not going to be a garbage truck, I won't bring the groups in and let them know that you're a garbage truck yet. But I'm going to remove you from all those groups, because I didn't trust her at all. So I removed her from all 5 groups, and I didn't tell everybody else she's a garbage truck. And all five of those groups within a month were starting to move again. I knew it. I just had to get the garbage off of them. And they started to do well. What's interesting, over time, all those people, they got figured it out. Ann wasn't in the room when we really did wit.